In Daniel 11, the appointed time is mentioned more than once. In verse 27, the end will still be at the appointed time. So in verse 27, the appointed time is future. Verse 29, you're at the appointed time. Verse 35, it is still for the appointed time. The appointed time is future, present, future. That's strange in a sequential book. So it's got to have a couple of phases. Now let's go to the time prophecy in 12. The next time prophecy is in Daniel 12, verses 11 and 12. And from the time that the daily sacrifice is taken away, and the abomination of desolation is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. So we've got a 1290 and a 1335, and it's from an abomination of desolation, and it goes all the way to a blessing. That should be pretty simple. All we have to do is find the abomination of desolation and run it 1290 and 1335. Should bring us to a blessing. Problem, there are 2 abominations of desolation in Daniel's writings. Now, that's actually good news, because I just mentioned if it's going to be future, present, future, it's got to come in at least 2 phases. If we have 2 beginning points, we have 2 phases. Daniel is not confused. He's being very technically accurate. So we're going to start with the first one, Daniel 9:27. Jesus himself talks about this prophecy in Matthew 24. Here's what Daniel says. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering, and on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation which is determined is poured out on the desolate. And I've met people that say, oh, this is not the abomination of desolation. This is the abomination that makes desolate. Okay. Technically, that's true. However, there's a Bible commentator that I've learned to never disagree with, who says this is the abomination of desolation. That commentator is Jesus. Here's what Jesus says. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, specifically he's talking about Daniel's abomination of desolation, right? Standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Jesus is using Daniel's chapter 9, abomination that desolates, and calling it the abomination of desolation. And both Daniel 9 and Jesus are referring to the destruction of Jerusalem that happens in 70 AD. And so, if Jesus can understand it to be the abomination of desolation, so can we. I mean, I do believe Jesus is a safe one to follow, right? So it's literally fulfilled. Interestingly, Jesus then gives a global application for his people. Verses 23 and following. For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. Well, as you see the world going really crazy, you can take some comfort in that last phrase. God's going to save us probably just before we self-destruct. But we can hang on to that. But now you know that there is a literal application, and Jesus applies it in a global fashion as well. Remember in Daniel, it applies literally for the place and globally for the people. It's a place and a people in Daniel. So this makes sense. So if we go from 70 AD and then come down here to 1290 years, it brings us to 1360. Hey, did you notice something? it brings the appointed time, the end point, right after the Crusades. That's where it would have to be matching the rest of Daniel 11.